everybody. Welcome to the second Optimism Fractal meeting. I'm here with Optimistics team members Tadas and Rosmari, and we're also being joined by Hodlon, who we have just met in the Optimism community over the past week. He joined the Optimism Fractal Discord, and I checked into his work. He's an awesome developer, so we're excited to be here, or well, I think so. At least I'm looking forward to learning more. So we're excited to be here. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for joining us and learning about Optimism Fractal, and we're stoked to go on this optimistical journey with you. I suppose I'll start it off by sharing a quick presentation to introduce Optimism Fractal once again, and also for a little overview of the agenda. We're going to play the respect game. So of course, if anybody wants to jump in and say hello or share a few thoughts, then feel free. But otherwise, I'll share a little presentation to welcome everybody to Optimism Fractal. So you can learn about Optimism Fractal at optimismfractal.com. This website's still in development, but you can scroll down and see a little bit of details about what we're doing, how we are pioneering an innovative consensus game, where community members rank each other's contribution to help the Optimism Collective and earn respect by doing so. We're big fans of the Optimism Collective, which is working to help create public goods and help create the open infrastructure for the open internet, and all sorts of good stuff that we have in lots of videos and lots of content in our blog where you can learn more. And you can also RSVP and invite friends and check out lots of media, and you can check out our last episode too. So I'll walk you through a little bit. I'll walk you through a little bit of it. So on the Optimism Governance Forum, gov.optimism.io, we recently put out a post introducing Optimism Fractal as a new community on a mission to grow optimism. It's dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators on optimism. And we're having these meetings every Monday at 17 UTC now. And this is helpful for everybody who's interested in growing communities of optimism, creators, builders, anyone interested in learning more. I invite you to join our Discord, and also we have a Twitter account too where you can learn more. We've been putting out lots of tweets, so I encourage you to also check out our Twitter account and retweet, and also check out the videos too. So we just published this week the first episode of Optimism Fractal, and during this meeting we had an introduction to Optimism Fractal from the Optimistics team, myself, Tadas, Rosmari, and Vlad, and we talked about our innovative consensus game called the Respect Game, and we gave a special tour of the new OP stack tools that Tadas and Vlad have built. You can also scroll down here to learn more, and also find the RSVP links and the Discord links and so forth. And yeah, of course, you can click there, and then the way this works is you can hit register for the full series or individual sessions, and there's also some links where you can find there too. So today we have a pretty similar agenda. So basically, we're going to be going through an introduction to Optimism Fractal, and then we're going to show you once again how to play the respect game. I encourage everybody to watch the first episode that came out. It's actually really cool. We made like a really sweet intro, as well as I gave a good overview for about an hour and 15 minutes or so about what Optimism Fractal is all about and all the great stuff that it can do for optimism and everyone in the world, really. So check that out to learn more. And today we'll do a brief recap on the Optimism Fractal and the respect game. You can also check out the show notes here to learn more too, and there's timestamps for all these videos. We're working to share great content with the community as an educational resource. And so yeah, basically we'll show you how to play the respect game briefly, and then we'll play the respect game. The meeting will be approximately an hour, so probably we'll play this respect game for about 45 minutes or so. Basically, each person will take their turn to share what they're doing to help each other, and we'll get into that in more details. And I also just want to make you aware, too, that we launched the Optimistic site, and you can check out to learn more about this and all the other stuff that we've been doing to grow Optimism Fractal over the past months at optimistics.io/blogs and optimistics.io/videos, as well as optimismfractal.com. So that is that for now, and I will stop my screen share, and maybe while I'm at it too, I'll just give a little introduction so we can go right into the respect game. Basically what's going to happen now is we're each going to take turns. We're each going to take about 3 to 5 minutes to share what we're doing to help optimism. We can also just introduce ourselves a little bit too, and share a little about who we are and why we're here and so forth. And then after we do that, we'll have some time for questions or comments that each person can share. And then we'll play the respect game. Or I suppose the whole thing is really playing the respect game. But basically, we'll use the Fractalgram app, which is an app that Tadas has built with Telegram to allow us to rank each other's contributions to optimism over the past week or so. And we just kind of use this way as a incredibly neutral way and a fun way to rank each other and rank each other's contributions and foster public goods for the Optimism Collective. There's also more details about this, by the way. I'll share my screen one more time because one more thing that I probably should have shared that might be helpful. You don't have to get into all the details, but if you are interested in learning more about how this works in more detail, in addition to the blog posts, which provide a lot of history and context and so forth, Tadas wrote out the details here, which has a pretty simple and high-level overview of the intent and also some key links where you can learn more with the apps that we use. But it talks a little bit about basically how the rules of the game work, but also more details about how the whole process works really. So you can learn about the community meetings that happen every week, the respect game, the breakout room results and how they're submitted to the OP mainnet, and what respect is and how respect gets distributed, as well as the consensus process for the community and so forth. So that's another place where you can learn if you want to check out more details. And also feel free to reach out in our Discord or on Twitter or join our meetings and ask questions. We're very happy to meet you and look forward to meeting and playing the respect game with many amazing people in the Optimism community. With that, I see Rosmari's on camera. I know Tadas was before too. I suppose if anybody would like to kick us off and go ahead, and well, first off, just feel free to share any thoughts if you feel like there's anything that you wanted to add on there, or if you want to jump right into the respect game and start sharing your contributions, then feel free to get into it.
I can kick off as a newbie. Just jump right in.
Sounds great. Thanks, Hodlon.
So I'm Hodlon. I am actually relatively very new to the Optimism ecosystem. And so I'm very curious about all the stuff going on. And I feel very aligned with just the mission of optimism in general. So that's why I appreciate you having me, letting me jump in and everything. But I'm actually not a developer. I wouldn't identify as a developer. I do all the other stuff. So I'm a product manager, do project managing. I'm an IRL event producer and community builder, which is something that translates really well into the Web3 space too. And I'm working on, the main project I'm working on right now is called XList. And it's a ZK or related to ZK applications to allow for proof of innocence. So it's essentially a list that would allow for proof of innocence tools to pull on to be able to check, to exclude, basically allow people to opt into pools that they know hackers' funds are not in. As well. And so that's kind of the main purpose of it right now. And then super curious as we're building it out and releasing it, what other applications will be built on it and what other people will do with it. So yeah, that's me.
All right, fascinating. Well, thank you for the introduction and overview. That sounds like a bunch of really cool stuff you're doing. And my apologies for confusing your work. I do remember on your website, I believe it's hodlon.art, you had you work with XList and work with Sandscreener. Yeah, Sandscreener. Yeah, Sandscreener. And I do remember it said that you were a project manager there, so that was my fault for getting that confused with developer.
Oh, no.
But nonetheless, it seems like quite technical projects though, but things that are really important to make sure that I never heard the term before, proof of innocence, but that's basically to make sure like that you can have privacy applications, but also prove that people aren't using it for like bad reasons, basically, and that people are innocent but private. Is that kind of like part of the general idea?
Yeah.
And using ZK technology to help verify that.
Yeah, so like right now, pretty much entire applications are being shut down because, it's like any funds in here, any of the funds could be bad, therefore they're all bad. And so the proof of innocence tools allow to prove cryptographically that actually these funds are private, but they're also not bad. They're also not associated with hacked addresses. So people can be sure that they can maintain their privacy and still prove that they're not, a hacker, essentially.
All right. Well, that sounds very helpful. It reminds me a little bit of, I know Vitalik Buterin, I think, worked with some people and worked on a paper. I think it was called Privacy Pools and like that, which seems maybe similar. Yeah. And then,
same space. Yep. Same,
cool.
Similar application.
Very cool. Well, yeah, thanks for the overview and look forward to learning more about your work with IRL event planning and stuff, I think you said too. So,
yeah.
sounds super cool. I think you went a bit short. You took like 3 minutes. So if you did want to provide any more details, then feel free if you want to provide a little bit more, or I suppose we could also pass it on to the next person if you're ready.
No, I guess the other work I do is DAO, I guess DAO building, or been focusing on kind of governance components of DAOs. So there's a DAO that I'm helping to build right now. It's an IRL DAO. We put on an event, and we're kind of the concept of city DAOs and using DAOs for people to organize locally to benefit local communities, but also using blockchain tools. And that DAO is deployed on Optimism. So I've been interacting with Optimism a bit through that as well. So it's just another component, another thing I'm doing as well and involved in.
Very interesting. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing. I wasn't familiar with that. If you do want to share any links so we can learn more, then we'd be happy to if you want to share in the Zoom chat or the Discord. Sometimes we also share a screen too, so you're welcome if you wanted to show us any more. But yeah, that sounds very helpful. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I'll drop a link to the events that we just put on, and we have a lot of great content coming out from it as well. It was a forum. It was just this kind of a small focused forum talking about Ethereum localism. So it's pretty cool. I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. Yeah, I've just recently heard about that phrase. I've been following Kevin Owaki from Greenpill a lot, and he recently gave a talk on that, I think, at PDX
he
or
just
something.
He put out on Greenpill, just put out one of the talks there. So yeah, it's probably where you heard of it.
Fascinating. Yeah, it's one of my favorite podcasts. He's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about that and localism. I think that, from what I understand, seems like a great concept. But anyway, I suppose that's probably been about 5 minutes or so. So is there anything else you wanted to throw in real quick, Hodlon? Feel free. But otherwise, perhaps if Tadas or Rosmari wants to go ahead with sharing what you've been doing to help Optimism lately.
I'm all good. Thank you very much.
Okay, sounds good. You're welcome. And thank you. Looking forward to looking to the links.
Yes, I can go next. Yeah, so, and by the way, Hodlon, weird. Really, I'm at least personally very interested in any kind of governance experiments and so on. So feel free to share like whatever you're doing with those DAOs, and I'm interested of learning more. Yeah, and regarding me, I'm a developer. Just to introduce myself shortly, so I wrote the smart contracts for this Optimism Fractal. I also created a tool called Fractalgram, which is a alternative Telegram client, which helps groups of people play the respect game, basically. And you will soon see how it works. And yeah, so that's my role here. Yeah, specifically this week, I didn't do a lot of stuff related to optimism. But I'm developing some ideas regarding how Optimism Fractal and Respect Game, how it could integrate with RetroPGF system. I see a lot of potential here in how Optimism Fractal could help RetroPGF, because right now, as I hear, one of the big problems in RetroPGF is the amount of workload for badge holders, and I think this is where like our fractal system can really shine and help. Yeah, so it's kind of developing in my mind, and I will try to soon put it in writing. Yeah, I guess that's all from me.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tadas. Oh, I think you were understating it, if I may add, about not doing a huge amount for Optimism this week, because also the last time that we've had the meeting was last Friday, so it's been 10 days, and I know you helped immensely on the Optimistics launch and RetroPGF application, stuff like that. So I don't know if you're forgetting that part because it's a bit further ago, but that was also very, very helpful for Optimism too. So just want to throw that in there as well.
Yeah, I helped our Optimistics team submit an application for RetroPGF, and I finished some of the work related to launching a Fractal, launching this Optimism Fractal. I also distributed respect tokens based on the last meeting. So right now there needs to be a manual triggering of distribution. So I did that. This was the first test on the Optimism mainnet, and so we did a lot of small errands for Optimism Fractal.
Sounds great. Well, thanks, Das. You have no idea how much I appreciate all your small errands over time. You're doing amazing work that makes us all possible in many ways. So thank you very much. And I don't know if maybe Rosmari wants to go next.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Great to meet you, Hodlon. My name is Rosmari, and I help with the marketing of Optimism Fractal and also the video production, marketing strategy, promotion, engagement, and so forth to popularize what we're doing here at Optimism Fractal. And I really like to engage with the optimism community in general. I think they're really cool. And in general, I really like the space. And I'm relatively new to Web3 in general. I came across it back in February, actually in Eden Fractal meetings, which Dan Singjoy hosts. And that's where we met, actually, with Tadas and Dan and Vlad, which is the other team member, developer, part of the Optimistics team. And since then, I've been more and more involved, and I'm really excited about the rollout of this project, these series of meetings, and we hope to inspire many more optimists to come and share what they're working on and play the respect game. And so my contributions for this week, I would share my screen to present you, as I like to make it visual. What I've been working on this past week to help Optimism Collective is, as Tadas and I think Dan mentioned, we submitted the Optimistics proposal for RetroPGF, and I was helping with the metrics here to collate them from different social media platforms like Twitter, YouTube, and so forth, as well as brainstorm on the best way we can go about presenting our impact. And then my second biggest contribution, I'd say, is editing the Optimism Fractal video, the first meeting. So now it's published, and also timestamps are available for anyone to watch. And what else I've been doing here for this video specifically is picking out best moments to clip as short videos and produce. I haven't produced them yet, but I have a nice draft of 5 mini short clips with key moments from this meeting that we hope to distribute further, hopefully this week. And also I was working on refining this blog page as part of the optimistics.io website, and I made sure that I added imagery so that now the gallery view looks much more appealing for anyone to come here and explore the blog posts about Optimism Fractal and just scroll through and learn more. And just as an example, I clicked on, I'm just want to show you how they look like. So this is one of them, one of the blog posts. It's about the first episode, including show notes and some more resources here. And also on Twitter, we did some promotional efforts. So I've been retweeting loads and posting in the Optimistics channel, YouTube account actually, with some nice long threads to invite more people into these meetings. And also worked alongside Dan to respond to the initial thread about the introducing of Optimism Fractal, which was posted 11 days ago. But now we just followed up with resurfacing about this first episode recording and also inviting to the second meeting, which happened right now. And also I worked a bit on registering the Optimistics in Reddit. I didn't know about the Optimism Collective space there, so looking forward to be engaging more with it. And that's it from me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. Dan, do you want to go next?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Oh, do I? Thanks so much, Rosmari. Super exciting stuff. And we've been working closely together, so I know that you've been working really hard and working constantly on this stuff. So there's so much more that you actually didn't mention there too. That's awesome. So I'll try to also cover a couple of things that you didn't get to. But all the stuff you shared there was wonderful. So thank you so much. All right, so here I'll share what I'm doing to help Optimism, and also give a little introduction to myself too, as well as little Sunny Flower here to hang out with us in the Optimism Fractal meeting. So yeah, I'm Dancing Joy. You can learn about me. I have a website, dancingjoy.com, and this website needs to be updated. I'm going to add the optimism stuff here soon, but you can learn a little bit about me. I'm working to make the best experience possible. I'm a creator. I also started the Eden Fractal community and several other things as well, like Eden Creators is a media outlet which promotes these fractal consensus games and so forth. So you can read the articles to learn more about that, but maybe because I didn't do it last week, I didn't screen share the introduction to a little bit who we are and so forth. To give a little intro and said that we've been working on these social consensus games for about a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years in some ways. But maybe I'll just do a quick screen share here before I get into my contribution. So yeah, a lot of what we're doing here at Optimism Fractal has been innovated in Eden Fractal. That's where Rosmari had said that we met. That's also where I've spent a lot of time with Tadas. It's a community that creates innovative game shows and tools, such as this Respect game. And we work to pioneer these consensus games that help people create public goods and help people collaborate. And we also make videos each week too. So I've been working and volunteering quite a lot over the past few years to produce all these and help promote the tools that Tadas and several other developers in building, as well as write articles and so forth to help guide the community, as well as hosting the meetings too. So you can learn more about that at edenfractal.com, as well as the recent videos. Lately, for the past 2 or 3 months, most of the videos have been featuring optimism, since we really have been getting into it. So this past week, I don't know if Rosmari mentioned it, but she's also been editing and producing the videos and show notes for the Eden Fractal videos and meetings, which are also featuring optimism. And she also produced a bunch of clips from them too, which are like super exciting, that I'll show you a little bit as well. But basically the show notes for each one of these two, so you can learn more and you can watch the full episode on the Eden Creators YouTube channel. Oh, maybe go back to the beginning, then it'll probably look a little better. But yeah, basically that's a little intro to kind of leading into what we're doing for optimism and what we've been doing for the past year or so, and what we've been doing for the past months in getting Optimism Fractal together. And you can learn more about that in Eden Creators YouTube channel at youtube.com/@EdenCreators. You can also see this video series that Rosmari also produced called Growing Optimism at Eden Fractal meetings, where we discussed optimism with probably about 20 or so Web3 leaders who joined the Eden Fractal meetings over the past few months and gave cool introductions. I can actually click and show. We also put together a cool intro video for this as well, so you can see like it zooms in. So I was also working on making the intro videos. I do like making some art stuff like this for these video series, as well as the other one that I showed you before about the Optimism Fractal intro. And then yeah, if you wanted, you could check out a lot of great shows we've done in the past, like Fractal Apple we mentioned. It's a show about public goods I hosted with Rosmari, and we also did Eden Town Hall, Career Talk, Community Stories, much more. But anyway, I'll get into the part where I share what I've been doing more specifically for this week for Optimism community. So as I said before, I worked on this video and then helped put together these show notes too. It's mostly Rosmari who put these together, and we're going to be getting these together more. So I suppose we'll go on to the next tab here. one of the main things I've been working on this week is building the Optimistics.io website. So we mentioned that we put in the RetroPGF application for Optimistics earlier this week, or I guess it was last week now. It was 1 week ago today, I suppose. And so we built this website, Optimistics.io. We've been working together for a long time, but we wanted to make a brand that featured and focused on optimism. And so we came up with this really cool idea for the Optimistics over the past few months, and now we finally launched the website. Still kind of working in progress too, still working on some forming issues, but it's quite nice. Talks about how we're very aligned with the optimistic vision and committed to helping the Optimism Collective, and it shows the introductory video where you can learn more about the Optimism Collective if you're not sure about it. That's one of the videos I showed you. There's like a 10-minute clip which provides a great introduction to optimism. It also shares the fractal innovations that we're building and links to the blog and videos, basically so people can learn about the fractal communities, tools, game shows, and events to grow optimism that we're working on, as well as invite links and websites to the Optimism Fractal and Eden Fractal, where optimism people or optimism builders and creators, optimists, as well as anybody who's interested in growing communities and collaborating is welcome to check out. And then we also have a section about the videos and a section of the blog too. And we put together some nice art too, as well as a little bit of writing to explain how we're working to create a better future for all with these innovations. I'm also working on creating a better tools page too. We have a tools page, and maybe I'll show more details of that next week when I have more to report, as well as an about page. And I'll just go through some of the other things I've been doing. I think I probably like 2 minutes left, so I'll be pretty quick. Yeah, Rosmari shared the Twitter account. We did launch this, and I collaborated with Rosmari to provide feedback on these tweets and help make them as helpful and interesting as possible, so that people can have a great thing to retweet and share with friends and learn about optimism and Optimism Fractal in a quick way. So I've been collaborating with her on some of the art and the writing, as well as our team member Vlad has been helping out with some feedback about that as well. And then also, as she said before, putting the post up on the Optimism governance forums too, to go spread the word. So we've been promoting the events there, as well as in the Optimism Discord, as well as in all the Fractal communities too. So we've been working with many great builders in Eden Fractal, in some communities called Fractally and Fractalian Worlds, and we have a Fractal Joy network with hundreds of great builders that we've been also promoting the Optimism Fractal 2 events as well, with Telegram messages and email reminders and so forth to get the word out and helping people educate about the optimistic vision. I worked a lot with our team on making this RetroPGF application as refined as possible. So we put together all the links, and then we gave really nice short summaries about what we're doing to what we've done rather to create Optimism Fractal, and how that's helping the Optimism Collective and the OP Fractal tools and Eden Fractal and making the content, and then the impact and so forth. And I don't have much time to share more, so maybe we'll just go another minute or two. There's just the 4 of us, so I suppose we can go a bit longer. But yeah, I also worked on getting the blog together. Rosmari helped out with this a lot, and she also wrote a lot of the blog posts too. But yeah, I did work on organizing them, as well as these posts that I've written over the past few months about the roots of Optimism Fractal and our fractal journey to optimism. These are kind of providing some of the history of where we came from and how we've been building fractals, and how these fractal tools can help optimism and help everyone really in the world greatly. So I worked on just putting those blogs together and designing the site a bit, and then Rosmari took it from there and put some beautiful pictures, and then wrote a lot of the articles. I encourage everybody to check out these articles in more detail. For example, this is the video series I shared before, and you can see a little bit of an introduction, and then most of the articles are quite a lot longer, and a lot of them are coming originally from our meetings with the Eden Fractal and their show notes, where you can learn more, and they're coming with videos too. So anyway, that's mostly Rosmari's, but I just helped out design a lot of that, as well as wrote some of these articles over the past few weeks, and then put them up on the website so they can see them on the Optimistic site. And then I also worked on doing a similar thing for the videos page too. If you go to the videos, you could see a lot of the recent videos that we've been making about optimism on optimistics.io/videos. So put this page together. And then also worked on impact metrics too. Well, this was earlier when we made our application for RetroPGF. One of the things I was asking for is putting together impact metrics. So we went and put together a lot of different things we've been doing, like writing an overview for RetroPGF badge holders and reviewers to see all the cool stuff we've been doing and be able to verify and so forth. So on this page over here, that you can see a table, and we still have to work on the formatting a little bit here, but you can see the different things we've done, like creating the articles and creating the videos, and then the viewership and the readership for this, and then the inject contributions and the events hosted and social media impressions, stuff like that. So I won't show you too much because I'm almost up with my time, but you can click on those at optimistics.io/metrics to learn more. And I suppose that's it. So that might have been 6 minutes or so. So my apologies for going a bit long. We do try to keep it pretty timely here, but there's a bit of flexibility when we have 4 of us here and we still have 20 minutes left. So hope you all enjoyed my presentation, and I'm very happy to be here with you all, working to spread the optimistic vision and launching or sprouting and growing Optimism Fractal and growing optimism. And yeah, that's it. If anybody has any questions for me or has any questions for Tadas or Hodlon or Rosmari, then feel free to share them now. Tadas also shared the Telegram link too for the Fractalgram group. So I'm going to join that group, and if you have Telegram, Hodlon, then it looks like maybe you joined already. Yep, it looks like we're all in there.
I'm already in there.
Okay, cool. Thanks. It looks like I'm the one who's late, and actually I joined from the wrong account, so I'm going to go leave and then rejoin now and from my proper account. And then, yeah, does anybody have any questions or comments for anybody in the meantime before we get into the Fractalgram game? If not, that's cool. I am in the group now. And so, Tadas, you can take it away. If you want, we can screen share again. We might have done that in our first meeting just so we could show people what's going on in Fractalgram. Do you think that's a good idea, or should we just go ahead without screen sharing as we usually do?
I don't know if we need that. Maybe let's we will have time to showcase it later if people feel the need to.
Yep, that's true. And for anybody who does want to watch it, then I believe that's featured in our first video. It's called OF1, Welcome to Optimism Fractal. And you can find that at optimismfractal.com/1, and there's timestamps you can find. I think we did it probably like 40 minutes in or so forth, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so the way it works is that one person in the breakout room, so in one room like this, has to run this Fractalgram tool, which automates creation of these messages, like the one I just submitted. Yes, good question, Hodlon. Yes, this is our one of the key things that we are planning to integrate DNS here, and in general, like it could have login kind of functionality where you need to log in, but there are a lot of work being done. Actually, multiple teams are working on new fractal based new tools for a process like this. So we're pretty sure that eventually we will have much better interfaces, which don't need you to copy and paste Ethereum addresses. Yeah, but right now you need to paste an actual Ethereum address. And another thing is that you have to reply to a message. Right now you posted a simple message.
Let me try that again. Like that?
Yes, thank you. Now, Dan and Rosmari will post there.
You're muted?
Yeah, I was muted. Thanks. Yeah, I have been looking into that. At some point, I'd shared with you, Tadas, a video about ENS on Optimism. I don't remember. It might be Optiname, something like that. I remember there's a few different initiatives that look like they were fairly close, but I don't know. Maybe that'll be done in the coming weeks or months or something like that. That'd be nice when it's possible.
Yes, yes.
Seems like an easy, low-hanging fruit from a product perspective. I don't know how difficult it is technically, but that'll be really nice to have that interoperability.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, right now there is like I'm not sure how ENS works on Optimism. I haven't looked into it enough. But yeah, it's something like that could really help.
Yep. Although one thing that's maybe worthy noting here too, though, is that the Fractalgram app does have it where it shows our name, so it's not like we're just choosing between public key addresses, but we can still vote between, like right now, what it shows on my screen is who should be ranked as level 6. And for anybody who's not familiar about that, as we explained last week, basically that's just who do you think did the most to help optimism based upon what they just shared this week. And then after that, we'll do who is level 5, who did the second most in this group, and who got level 4, and so forth. Yeah, just for that context, it says who should be ranked level 6. And so it says Dan, Hodlon, Rosmari, Tadas, and then it shows in parentheses our public key address and optimism. But it is, pretty easy to read in Fractalgram as is, though, too.
Yes, so right now I see me and Hodlon voted. I see Rosmari just voted. Then awaiting your vote.
I voted too.
Wow.
You can see.
Yes.
I feel honored. I feel honored, everyone.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
I think that's well deserved. You're the only one in here that works not just on Optimism Fractal, but on something in optimism in general.
Oh,
Of
there
course.
you go. That's a good way. In the wider ecosystem.
Yes.
Well, it's fractalized. That's why it's Optimism Fractal, right? It's fractalized. So
yes.
now this is for the runner-up.
Yes, it's for the runner-up.
Yes.
And yeah, on that too. So we went over this a little bit last week, but one of the reasons why it's called fractal is because this, there's several different reasons, but a lot of the design of these consensus games in our meetings are based upon nature, like how nature is fractal. And one of the ways is that when there are more people, like there has been some meetings that we've had or participated in where there's been like hundreds of people, and we envision a world where this could be a great way where communities of 4 people or 20 people or hundreds of people or thousands of people can come together, then we would do breakout rooms rather than everybody in one room. You go into breakout rooms of 5 or 6, so it kind of is like leaves branching out into a tree in that way.
Well, and then this ecosystem itself as a smaller branch of optimism, the Optimism Ecosystem. At least this is conversations we've been having at PDX about fractalized, same type of thing of like we can have an overarching umbrella and a network within that, and then that network is also connected to other city DAOs and other networks. So I've had fractals on the brain. Fractals go all the way up and all the way down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right. That's what we are thinking a lot about as well. Like, especially about how to compose these smaller DAOs into something bigger and so on. And
very cool.
Yeah, fractals are beautiful, and I think very essential as well for the way that people cooperate too. There's a lot of wisdom and like very necessary designs for humans to be able to cooperate and coordinate effectively. And I like how you put that too about how Optimism Fractal is kind of like a fractal sprouting of optimism, where there's all these communities of optimism as well. And also your picture looks quite fractal too. I don't actually know what your picture is. It's like a superhero in space with some cool shoulder pads and some fractal thing going around the head.
There's a mandala.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a mandala, and there's actually a GIF. It's a screenshot of a GIF. So the mandala is actually kind of spiraling around and looks very kind of psychedelic and fractally. It's very cool. It's the favorite NFT I've ever seen, and that's why I bought it.
Oh, very cool. I didn't know it was an NFT.
Yeah, and then he shoots lasers out of his eyes. It's the whole GIF. I'll share the GIF in the chat.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I still haven't seen you share. Oh, I don't know if you shared the other thing that you said you're going to share in the Discord or something like that, but I'm looking forward to seeing that whenever you share it as well. Well, I think you said with the PDX style stuff that you've been dealing with hosting and stuff. Cool. And then one other comment I want to make on Tadas's point too. I would say that what we're all doing is not just Optimism Fractal, because we're also working with Eden Fractal to promote Optimism Fractal, which is also Eden Fractal is a great place where people from the Optimism community can network and collaborate, and contributions to Optimism are very much appreciate and respect Eden Fractal. Those meetings happen every Wednesday at 16 UTC, and everyone's welcome to join those as well. And then all the videos we're producing and so forth. I really appreciate Hodlon. Really, really cool hearing about all the stuff you're up to, much more than I understood from the website before. And then also the fact that Hodlon's leading the way too. And he's the first person who's joined and made this fractal and started to make it what it can be for the Optimism community, with a great place for many more people to come. So thank you so much, Hodlon, for joining us and leading the way in all your great work.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks. You're welcome. Okay, and now we just need a vote from Rosmari. We're on to level 5.
Yeah, so Rosmari just voted, so 2 for Dan, 2 votes for Dan, 2 for Rosmari. So what we do usually...
Did we break the system by having a tie?
This has never happened before. No, shit.
Yes. Oh shit, we haven't thought about.
Yeah, so the way it works is we have to come to consensus. That's part of the game. So if we ever have a tie or something, we have to debate or have a dialectic or something. We have to have a discussion to determine who should be, and we have to have at least 2/3 of us to agree. So one person will have to change their vote for somebody to win. And now it's on between Rosmari and I, so to speak.
Yeah,
even though we both voted for each other.
Yeah, so typically we ask like for people who for someone to advocate for why we voted the way they did. For me personally, I was back and forth between Dan and Rosmari, so I can be easily swayed.
Same. I feel like Dan contributed, or like when you were saying when you were saying your contributions, you also mentioned Rosmari a lot. So it was a lot of, you both did a lot.
Yes, and they collaborate on their work a lot. So
right.
That's why it's harder, I guess.
Who got it last week?
So last week, Tadas was level 6, I was level 5, Rosmari was level 4, and Vlad was level 3.
Okay, so
I'll encourage everybody to change the vote for Rosmari rather than voting for me. So as you said, we have been doing a lot, both of us, and also we've been collaborating a lot. So it looks like I didn't have to convince anybody any further. But yeah, Rosmari's doing amazing work, and she could have gone into so much more detail about all this great stuff she's done too.
Oh,
so thank you, Rosmari.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course.
Thanks so.
Okay, now let's vote for level 4. And by the way, usually we wait for 2/3 of votes on someone before moving on.
Okay.
Okay. 100% consensus. And now we reached consensus on the main things. Now the only thing left to do is to submit it. Yeah, so what has happened here, this tool is basically meant to help community reach consensus. And what really matters at the end of the day is what we submit on chain. Because we could, for example, use some other tool to reach consensus. Maybe in the future we won't depend on Telegram servers and so on. So yeah, but that's why what really matters is what we submit on chain. And of course, on the way it works is that at least 2/3 of breakout room has to submit the same result for it to count. Yeah, so right now I posted a new message which summarizes the results, and it has a link. Results can be submitted here, which will, if you click it, it will take you to a front end where you can click submit basically. yeah, and ideally in the future you would see here more of ENS names instead of just addresses as you do right now.
That's right. Thank you for the overview. Oh, something I'm wondering, Tadas, by the way, is there a limit? I know in the tools that we've been using in that we've been building with and developing in the Optimism Ecosystem for the past couple of years, like there's a timer in terms of when you can submit the vote, but is there no timer? So if you wanted to, you could submit your consensus after the meeting, or have you thought about that, how that works?
Yeah, right now I've wrote in the rules that only submissions which happen in 2 hours after the meeting start, only those are counted. But right now it's partially manual review of submissions. We plan to automate it, but yeah, that's where I think would be a reasonable way to go, is to leave some room, like an hour after a meeting to submit, but not more.
Okay, cool. And just to clarify, and so at least 2/3 of the people or the participants or players need to submit that on chain within 2 hours, or else they won't be counted basically, and then they won't receive the respect entities on chain unless 2/3 of the players do it in the Reiki room and they agree.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for the clarification, and I just submitted my transaction onto the OP mainnet.
Do we want to verify the character sequence so we all know we're looking at the same thing?
Yes, we don't always do that since we have this Fractalgram tool, but that's a good security to do that. Yeah, so I'm seeing 80, 83, 01, 81, B0.
Same here.
Yep, that's what I got.
Same.
Cool.
Okay,
pushing it.
And yes, I suppose that's especially helpful in the meantime when we don't have ENS domains,
Yes.
just because it can be confusing to see which addresses are which without seeing that.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe we should practice that in this fractal, in EOS based fractals, which we did. EOS has account names which are more readable, so usually you can review it in that front end, and it's more meaningful. Here
I already compared the addresses and Tadas's message on Telegram with the front face, and they look the same.
So I don't know if this is a bug on our end or on, hold on a second, on MetaMask. Okay, that's better. So I was originally on Ethereum mainnet, and instead of prompting me to switch networks, it was having me push. It was like $2 in ETH. It was having me asking me to submit on mainnet. Yeah.
Oh no, I did it. I was like $2 because I didn't switch. Yes, and
Yeah.
I was like,
okay,
yeah, I did submit indeed.
So it submitted on the wrong chain.
That too?
Yes.
That means I have to resubmit it?
Yes, you have to switch in networks. Although if the rest of us submit, maybe we don't need. Anyway, that
How much does it cost to submit on Optimism? Because it says
on Optimism, it's usually less than a cent, or it depends on the
$2.
network congestion, but
I should have just
usually
up. Anyway.
Is this a known bug?
Yes, it's a known bug. I will ping the developer Vlad who promised to fix it.
Okay. I'm gonna still submit it on Optimism. I should have just mentioned it, but anyway, I am gonna know for future.
Let's see, transaction failed.
Yeah, that's something I suppose we can mention each week going forward before people submit their transactions to make sure that they switch to Optimism network, so that they're not paying extra to the Ethereum miners for no reason.
Yes, until we fix it, it should typically prompt user to switch their networks automatically.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Well, we're learning, and thanks all for the great meeting so far. We are probably going to wrap it up. We're trying to keep the meetings pretty short and punctual, around an hour. We also got started a bit late today too, so if we want any time for like some last questions or comments from anybody, or final thoughts, then feel free to share. I can also start closing out with a little reminder to people to join next week's meeting and some links where people can dive in deeper and so forth. But I suppose first, is there anything else that anybody would like to say at this meeting, or any other thoughts you'd like to share?
No, I thought this was great. I had a great time. And again, appreciate you having me and helping me feel included.
All right, sounds great. Well, thank you, Hodlon. And yeah, if there's anything more that you want to share, we'd love to hear your feedback. But that right there is very nice for us to hear, and so you're very welcome, and we really appreciate you joining, and hope we'll get to see you again at next week's meeting and in future meeting. And yeah, feel free either now or at any meeting or in our Discord chat to reach out with any questions or comments, or share more about all the cool stuff that you're doing. I'm very excited to look more into it.
Yeah, I'll see y'all in the Discord.
Okay, cool. See you there. Tadas, Rosmari, any last thoughts?
I think this was great. Thanks, thanks Dan, Rosmari, and Hodlon for another meeting, and see you soon.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Well, thanks. Well, first off, I'm just going to say everybody can check out optimismfractal.com. I should have said that earlier, but you know probably because you saw it. But to learn more, optimism.com, lou.ma/optimismfractal to register for the weekly events. They're happening every Monday at 17 UTC, and you can get email reminders there. And also from optimismfractal.com or the lou.ma, you can join our Discord, as we were just talking about, to answer questions, ask questions, and then give us a follow on x.com at Optimism Fractal, and also at Optimistics _, where you can see all the updates that are coming out in addition to the Discord and the events and stuff like that. Very much looking forward to future events, and everybody's also welcome to join the Eden Fractal on Wednesdays as well if you'd like. And then yeah, also last week we ended it by saying grow optimism, so maybe we want to end it with that rather than just saying goodbye. What do you think? Maybe a 3, 2, 1, grow optimism? Or you can just go just goodbye if you want. Or maybe I'll go
Ready,
3,
break.
2, 1. Grow optimism.
Hey.
Hey. All right. Thanks everybody so much, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.